Welcome. This is Recidiva. I'm sharing a recording of a casual Skyrim playthrough using a mod list I built. My profound thanks to all the mod creators who have made this game a crowdsourced treasure. I hope you enjoy.
As much as it pains me to say this, the two of you look right together. Perhaps you could stop with the longing glances, though.
No. Okay, I haven't been to Sheer Point, and if I'm right, stone hands are there, which is a Legacy of the Dragonborn relic. So we were gonna do this anyway. And I think there's a dragon priest there also. Oh my god. Let me out. Where am I going?
Let's do this! No one
Yeah, I'm seeing my own head instead of their head. Visibility's tough enough in this game.
Hand on my wall!
Ew. Don't mount people heads on your wall, Vocus. Gross. Please let me the fuck out of here. What the hell? Okay, it came in that way. Went that way. Okay, thank you. Okay, my illusion's moving up quickly. Let me grab some points in there. So we've got lots of time in this game. I'm probably going to try to do this with lots of magical casting. Yeah, this is one we're headed for. Quiet casting. All spells you cast from any school of magic are silent to others. Alright, I'm sticking with first person for now. I don't like... I can also see what spell I am casting.
Let's take the day off.
By the color.
Let me pump you.
It's harder to see when you're further back.
Everything else can fucking wait.
This is a bit of a pain in the ass. This fight up here. Because there is a dragon priest. And it just kind of floats off the edge of the cliff. And then their body tumbles downhill most often.
Kaidan
Because you just...
talking about how fine the view is from back here. But since I'm always right behind you, I could not agree less.
There's a better way to do this, folks. You need to go further west, I believe. So there's a dragon and a dragon priest. Doing this early is inadvisable. Okay, I'm going to try to boost my magic up a little bit now. Once you're over 300, you're usually not in terrible danger. I ignore this ice wraith, it's gonna come find us in the middle of the fight. Oh, I am so proud of me. One shot an ice wraith. Okay, so before you try Sheerwind Point, save. It really isn't that the fight's difficult, it's just that with the Dragon Priest, you are going to want to loot them, and sometimes you're not even going to be able to reach the corpse because it's just rolled down a cliff. And in the vanilla game, even just trying to find the corpse will kill you. And for me, just trying to find the corpse will make me crazy because I don't remember where it went. Okay. Okay, yeah, my fire resistance is really good.
Jur, Zafrul!
I love the way the Epic Dragons look. They're so cool. I think that
Shit happens.
It may be dead now. But where did it come from?
Okay, I'm not going to talk to Vilkas just yet because we still have to kill this dude. Versus. Which means sorrow.
Oblivion, hit you!
Oh wow. No, we haven't killed. Yeah, it's just. It's gonna back up and back up and back up and back up. And. It's gonna be.
You will fall to our
So, while you do this
I'm
fight,
ending this right
don't let them back up so far over here that they go down the cliff. Try to keep them backing up this way.
Bastard!
Because they can actually levitate, and they will just levitate off the edge of the cliff.
You're not gonna like how this ends.
Down into Owie land.
And you can fuck right
I hate that perspective. I can't do it. As much as the animations look very cool, I'm never going to be able to do it. Okay. Got the mask. Over here is a word. Oh, my poor space bar. Hold on a second. This poor thing is so sad. After Kitty ripped it from its home.
Courses. This one increases your luck picking. Good archery and alchemy. Ah, shit. Sorry. Alchemy is important, I guess.
Alright, go. Someday I should get organized and actually use the spells to... Let's see. Lockpicking, archery, and alchemy are 20% better. Yeah, that's a really good mask. Let's see what I'm wearing on the head. I don't think I'm wearing anything on my head. What? Oh, circlet. Conjuration costs 45% less, deal 36%, and yeah, this one's better. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Croesus. You suck. Stone Hands is right here. Very crispy. And this is where you get stone hands, stone hands.
Now that was a battle.
You fought well.
Thank you, Harbinger. For the glory of the companions, for Iskramor.
Let's go.
I'm going to stay a while. Rest among these bones. This creature honored us with its life, and I will honor it with my respect.
Good for you, man. Try not to die.
If you don't need them all, wouldn't mind a pinch of frost salts for my ale later. Gives it a nice chill that I find quite refreshing.
Get your own fucking frost salts, man. Although, if I could, I would give them to him. Just because that would be cool, but I can't. Alright, it is late, and I think I'm just gonna ask Kaidan to set up a tent. And we can watch the
What's that look in
sunrise.
your eyes, little dragon?
About surviving out
Aye.
here. I'm exhausted.
Maybe we should rest for the night.
Could you set up a campsite?
Okay. Give me a minute, and I'll set up a tent. You'll be safe and warm inside.
Can you set up a large tent?
Aye, alright.
Oh, and Kaidan's new tent with the upgrade is even better. It got a lux patch, the lighting is better, and it's got even more stuff.
Bit warm in here. I might have to strip down a bit. Join me?
So yeah, in his new tent, oh, my outfits aren't set correctly. In his new tent, oh god, oh, I have to stop spinning the camera anymore. He has a loft, and in the loft is a, well, it would be, yeah, right up there with a little, so there's more sleeping spots. That's where the tents that are, I mean, the sleeping bags are on the floor right
favorite
now,
part
the
of our tent
bedrolls,
is anywhere
they're
that
up
you
in a
navigate
loft,
it.
along with a, if you tell him, hey cat, if you tell him which god of the 8 you, or the 9, that you worship, he will set up a shrine up in the loft in the sleeping area. That's very cool. This sofa just cracks me up, just, you know, randomly here. Icing Chitin. Repletus Spatic. Tale dates to the year 855 of the Second Era, after General Talos had taken the name Tiber Septim and began his conquest of Tamriel. One of his commanding officers, Vitic of Eliolos, had been surprised in an ambush when returning from a meeting with the Emperor. She and her personal guard of 5 soldiers barely escaped and were separated by their army. They fled across the desolate, sleet-painted rocky cliffs by foot. The attack had been so sudden they had not even the time to don armor. or to get to their horses. If we can get to the Gorve Ridge, hollered Lieutenant Asketus, gesturing toward a peak off in the mist, his voice barely discernible over the wind, we can meet the legion you stationed in Pornak. Beatia looked across the craggy landscape through the wind-swept hoary trees and shook her head. Not that way. We'll be struck down before we make it halfway to the mountains. You can see their horses' breath through the trees. She directed her guards to a ruined old keep on the frozen isthmus of Neron, across the bay from Gorbig Ridge. Jutting out of a promontory of rock, it was like many other abandoned castles in northern Skyrim, remnants of Remon Cyrodiil's protective shield against the continent of Akavir. As they reached their destination and made a fire, they could hear the army of the war chiefs of Danstar behind them, making camp on the land southwest, blocking the only escape but the sea. The soldiers assessed the stock of the keep while Beatia looked out to the fog-veiled waters through the casements of the ruin. She threw a stone, watching it skip across the ice, trailing puffs of mist before it disappeared with a splash into a crack in the surface. No food or weaponry to be found, Commander. Lieutenant Asketus reported. There's a pile of armor in storage, but it's definitely taken on the elements over the years. I don't know if it's salvageable at all. We won't be here alone, Beatia replied. The Nords know that we'll be vulnerable when night falls, and this old rock won't hold them off. If there's anything in the keep we can use, find it. We have to make it across the ice floe to the ridge. After a few minutes of searching and matching pieces, the guards presented two very grimy, scuffed and cracked suits of chitin armor. Even the least proud of the adventurers and pirates who had looted the castle over the years had thought the shells of chitin beneath their notice. The soldiers did not dare to clean them. The dust looked to be the only adhesive holding them together. They won't offer us much protection, just slow us down, grimaced Asketus. If we run across the ice as soon as it gets dark, anyone who can plan and execute an ambush like the war chiefs of Danstar will be expecting that. We need to move quickly, now, before they're any closer. Beatia drew a map of the bay in the dust and then a semicircular path across the water, an arc stretching from the castle to the Gorvig Ridge. The men should go the long way across the bay like so. The ice is thick there a ways from the shoreline, and there are a lot of rocks for cover. You're not staying behind to hold the castle. Of course not, Beatia shook her head and drew a straight line from the castle to the closest shore across the bay. I'll take one of the chitin suits and try to cross the water here. If you don't hear or see me when you've made it to land, don't wait, just get to Pornak. Lieutenant Asketus tried to dissuade his commander, but he knew that she would never order one of her men to perform the suicidal act of diversion, that all would die before they reached Gorvig Ridge if the war chief's army was not distracted. He could find only one way to honor his duty to protect his commanding officer. It was not easy convincing Commander Beatia that he should accompany her, but at last she relented. The sun hung low, but still cast a diffuse glow, illuminating the snow with a ghostly light. When the 5 men and 1 woman slipped through the boulders behind the castle to the water's frozen edge, Beatia and Asketus moved carefully and precisely, painfully aware of each dull crunch of chitin against stone. At their commander's signal, the 4 unarmored men dashed toward the north through the ice. When her men had reached the first fragment of cover, a spiral of stone jutting a few yards from the base of the promontory, Beatia turned to listen for the sound of the army above. Nothing but silence. They were still unseen. Asketus nodded, his eyes through the helm showing no fear. The commander and her lieutenant stepped onto the ice and began a run. When Beatia had surveyed the bay from the castle ramparts, the crossing closest to the shore had seemed like a vast, featureless plain of white. Now that she was down on the ice, it was even more flat and stark. A sheet of mist rose only up to their ankles, but it billowed up at their approach like the hand of nature itself was pointing out their presence to their enemies. They were utterly exposed. It came almost as a relief when Beatia heard one of the war chief's scouts whistle a signal to his masters. They didn't have to turn around to see if the army was coming. The sound of galloping hoofs and the crash of trees giving way was very clear over the whistling wind. Beatia wished she could risk a glance to the north to see if her men were hidden from view, but she didn't dare. She could hear Asketus running to her right, keeping pace, breathing hard. He was used to wearing heavier armor, but the chitin joints were so brittle and tight from years of disuse It was all he could do to bend them. The rocky shore to the ridge still looked an eternity away when Beatia felt and heard the first volley of arrows. Most struck the ice at their feet with sharp, cracking sounds, but a few nearby found home, ricocheting off their backs. She silently offered a prayer of thanks to whatever anonymous shellsmith, now long dead, had crafted the armor. They continued to run as the first rain of arrows was quickly followed by a second and a third. Thanks, Stendarr, Ascidas gasped. If there was only leather in the keep, we'd be pierced through and through. Now if it weren't so rigid. Beatia felt her own armor joints begin to set, her knees and hips finding more and more resistance with every step. There could be no denying it. They were drawing closer toward the shore, but they were running much more slowly. She heard the first dreadful galloping crunch of the army charging across the floe toward them. The riders were cautious on the slippery ice, not driving their horses at full speed, but Beatia knew that they would soon be upon the two of them. The old chitin armor could withstand the bite of a few arrows, but not a lance driven with the force of a galloping horse. The only unknown was time. The thunder of beating hooves was deafening behind them. When Ascidas and Beatia reached the edge of the shore, the giant, jagged stones that strung across the beach blockaded the approach. Beneath their feet, the ice sighed and crackled. They could not stand still, run forward, nor run back. Straining against the tired metal in the armor joints, they took 2 bounds forward and flew at the boulders. The first landing on the ice sounded an explosive crack. When they rose for the final jump, it was on a wave of water, so cold it felt like fire through the thin armor. Ascidas' right hand found purchase in a deep fissure. Beatia gripped with both hands, but her boulder was slick with frost. Faces pressed to the stone, they could not turn to face the army behind them. But they heard the ice splintering, and the soldiers cry out in terror for just an instant. Then there was no sound but the whining of the wind and the purring lap of the water. A moment later, there were footsteps on the cliff above. The 4 guardsmen had crossed the bay. There were 2 to pull Beatia up from the face of the boulder, and another 2 for Ascidas. They strained and swore at the weight, but finally they had their commander and her lieutenants safely on the edge of Gorvig Ridge. By Mara, that's heavy for light armor. Yes, smiled Beatia wearily looking back at the empty, broken ice floe, the cracks radiating from the parallel path she and Ascidas had run. But sometimes, that's good. Immortal Blood by Anonymous. The moons and stars were hidden from sight, making that particular quiet night especially dark. The town guard had to carry torches to make their rounds, but the man who came to call at my chapel carried no light with him. I came to learn that Movarth Piquim could see in the dark almost as well as the light, an excellent talent considering his interests were exclusively nocturnal. One of my acolytes brought him to me, and from the look of him, I at first thought he was in need of healing. He was pale to the point of opalescence, with a face that looked like it had once been very handsome before some unspeakable suffering. The dark circles under his eyes bespoke exhaustion. But the eyes themselves were alert, intense, almost insane. He quickly dismissed my notion that he himself was ill, though he did want to discuss a specific disease. Vampirism, he said, and then paused at my quizzical look. I was told that you were someone I would seek out for help understanding it. Who told you that? I asked with a smile. Ticina Gray. I immediately remembered her, a brave, beautiful man who had needed my assistance separating fact from fiction on the subject of the vampire. It had been 2 years, and I had never heard whether my advice had proved effective. You've spoken to her? How is her ladyship? I asked. Dead, Movarth replied coldly, and then, responding to my shock, he added to perhaps soften the blow. She said your advice was invaluable, at least for the one vampire. When last I talked to her, she was tracking another. It killed her. And the advice I gave her was not enough. Why do you think it would be enough for you? I was a teacher once myself, years ago. Not in a university. A trainer in the Fighters Guild. But I know that if a student doesn't ask the right questions, the teacher cannot be responsible for his failure. I intend to ask you the right questions. And that he did. For hours he asked questions, and I answered what I could, but he never volunteered any information about himself. He never smiled. He only studied me with those intense eyes of his, committing every word I said to memory. Finally, I turned the questioning around. You said you were a trainer in the Fighters Guild. Are you on an assignment for them? No, he said curtly, and finally I could detect some weariness in those feverish eyes of his. I would like to continue this tomorrow night, if I could. I need to get some sleep and absorb this. You sleep during the day. I smiled. To my surprise, he returned the smile, though it was more of a grimace. When tracking your prey, you adapt their habits. The next day, he did return with more questions, these ones very specific. He wanted to know about the vampires of Eastern Skyrim. I told him about the most powerful tribe, the Volkihar, paranoid and cruel, whose very breath could freeze their victims' blood in the veins. I explained to him how they lived beneath the ice of remote and haunted lakes, never venturing into the world of men except to feed. Movarth Pequeen listened carefully and asked more questions into the night until at last he was ready to leave. I will not see you for a few days, he said, but I will return and tell you how helpful your information has been. True to his word, the man returned to my chapel shortly after midnight 4 days later. There was a fresh scar on his cheek, but he was smiling, that grim but satisfied smile of his. Your advice helped me very much, but you should know that the Volkihar have additional abilities you didn't mention. They can reach through the ice of their lakes without breaking it. It was quite a nasty surprise, being grabbed from below without any warning. How remarkable, I said, and terrifying. You're lucky you survived. I don't believe in luck. I believe in knowledge and training. Your information helped me, and my skill at melee combat sealed the bloodsucker's fate. I've never believed in weaponry of any kind. Too many unknowns. Even the best swordsmith has created a flawed blade. But you know what your body is capable of. I know I can land 1,000 blows without losing my balance, provided I get the first strike. The first strike? I murmured, so you must never be surprised. That is why I came to you, said Movarth. You know more than anyone alive about these monsters and all their cursed varieties across the land. Now you must tell me about the vampires of Northern Valenwood. I did as he asked, and once again his questions taxed my knowledge. There were many tribes to cover. The Bomsamu, who were indistinguishable from Bosmer except when seen by candlelight. The Kirlith, who could disintegrate into mist. The Vekev, who swallowed men whole. The dread Telboth, who preyed on children, eventually taking their place in the family, waiting patiently for years before murdering them in all their unnatural hunger. Once again he bade me farewell, promising to return in a few weeks, and once again he returned as he said, just after midnight. This time Movarth had no fresh scars, but he again had new information. You were wrong about the Kirlith being unable to vaporize when pushed underwater, he said, patting my shoulder fondly. Fortunately, they cannot travel far in their mist form, and I was able to track it down. It must have surprised it fearfully. Your field knowledge is becoming impressive. I should have had an acolyte like you decades ago. Now tell me of the vampires of Cyrodiil. I told him what I could. There was but one tribe in Cyrodiil, a powerful clan who had ousted all other competitors, much like the Imperials themselves had. Their true name was unknown, lost in history, but they were experts at concealment. If they kept themselves well fed, they were indistinguishable from living persons. They were cultured, more civilized than the vampires of the provinces, preferring to feed on victims while they were asleep, unaware. They will be difficult to surprise, Movarth frowned. But I will seek one out, and I will tell you what I learned. And then you will tell me of the vampires of High Rock, and Hammerfell, and elsewhere, and Blackmarsh, and Morrowind, and the Somerset Isles. Yes? I nodded, knowing then that this was a man on an internal quest. He wouldn't be satisfied with but the barest hint of how things were. He needed to know it all. He did not return for a month, and on the night that he did, I could see his frustration and despair, though there were no lights burning in my chapel. I Failed, he said, as I lit a candle. You were right. I could not find a single one. I brought the light up to my face and smiled. He was surprised, even stunned by the pallor of my flesh, the dark hunger in my ageless eyes, and the teeth. Oh, yes, I think the teeth definitely surprised the man who could not afford to be surprised. I haven't fed in 72 hours, I explained, as I fell on him. He did not land the first blow, or the last. I'm trying to get the spoon thing to work, but it needs a bunch of animations. I'm working on it. There's a mod where you can spoon with your followers or follower. Animations for it. There are bed remakes for it. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't gotten it to work yet, but I have hope. The bestiary does look cool, the journal, but I can't get it to work, and I think it's because I use Dear Diary dark mode.
All the comforts of home in an itty-bitty living space.
So the bestiary is mostly used for people who want to learn the resistances of things. Okay, now it's snowing. I should be wearing my snowing outfit. Yes. Yes! Oh my god, it's so pretty. Look! I'm gonna run in a circle. Just because it's amazing. Look at it. Look at the glory. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some snow mods that look better than this too. I got a lot of work to do. Okay, where are we going? Oh, I never actually talked to the companion leaders for work. Ha! Okay, well, let's do that then. There's also a co-map marker for your Vasker. And I should install that on this playthrough. You can port directly to your Vasker. It makes life a bit easier.
We had that beast contained, and you released it. Why?
Look! We did it. It's a regrown Kildercream.
There's a rift here in Skyrim.
I'm
Can't neither
so
magic nor the passing of
happy
time.
about that.
Whatever you need, Dragonborn. Just say the word.
We did it. I've never done that before.
I swear, if I hear a god say one more time that someone stole your sweet roll, I'm going to jam an arrow.
And they would deserve it. I didn't know what the sweet roll comment was or why it was there, but it looks like it's a
Azura's
throwback to
wisdom to you,
Morrowind
friend.
where someone
Hey,
does
it's
actually
good
try
to
to
see you,
steal
little
your
sister.
sweet roll. Hey Farkas,
What
I
kind
fixed
of
your
weapon do you
face
prefer?
in the new
I
game.
like the smaller, quicker blades. I always knew I was your favorite.
You know I
Of
like
course.
hammers and axes.
Okay,
On
what?
later, Tater. I can get in and out before you
Later,
have one
Tater?
swing.
Let's test that out.
Did he actually say later, Tater? Yeah, never say that
I figured
again.
You were here, Kaidan. I can
Maybe
smell
Vilkas
Tilma
could show you how to
cooking
use a
horn right
greatsword. Or Kaidan. Although if it's Kaidan,
Aye.
be very specific about which sword you'd like him to use.
Yeah, the less I hang out with these guys, the better. They're just, it's...
If something troubles you, Shield Sister, I am here should you... Something has shifted in the moons, sister.
What is it?
I've sensed the blood pulsing a little stronger of late. I had assumed you had as well. I think our potential is on the rise. Persine smiles on us. Let's not question too much.
Yeah, let's not,
The more we
let's not
feed, the
think.
greater our prowess will grow. We could perhaps discover even more gifts of Persine.
I'm looking for work.
A citizen of the Pale has asked for our help. It seems that a predator has invaded their home, and someone needs to clear the beast out.
I'll take that job.
I knew we could count on you. Get it taken care of right away. Nobody wants an animal left roaming around in their place.
Okay, so... yeah, this is just weird in terms of getting work. Why does it keep sending me in and then out? Miscellaneous... okay, that's... alright, now I have a job, and it's at the top of the list. Animal extermination, kill the ice wraith. Good, okay. So we have that, we've cleared that. Find Joftin's notes on silver, on, well, yeah, this is, Saints and Seducers. I love that tree, look at that. And look at the falling Gildergreen petals, that's another mod. So beautiful. And you can't ruin it, I'm scared. Ah, see what beauty mods can bring to your life. Let's appreciate the lanterns. Dovanique's lanterns. The mod that places all of these lanterns around here is from Blubos. Now, the mod is not on Nexus, or if it is, it's kind of hard to find.
The Emperor of Tamriel, dead. These are dark times, my friend.
So,
Dark times
to make
indeed.
this section this beautiful, it takes actually quite a bit of work. The lattices are
A pleasure,
redone.
Thane.
The lanterns are placed by a separate mod. The lanterns themselves are modded. The Gildergreen
Another
is
quiet
modded.
day.
There are falling
I work
petals,
with my
which
mother.
is a mod.
Sell fruits and vegetables.
So
it's fun most days.
Blubos
but hard
places
work.
the lanterns, and the way that I found them was not from browsing Nexus, but I went through someone else's mod list. It's Novus, who is an extraordinary modder. And they have their own Novus list on their own Novus website. Now, I could get
What
their
is it,
list to work, but the problem with using someone else's list was that I couldn't modify their list. I couldn't put in the stuff that I wanted. So, and it kind of messed up the settings of my laptop, and I wasn't enjoying that. So I
Rorik's
did
a nice enough little hamlet with a boring
take
portal for a
Novus's
guard, if a
mod
dragon
list,
sweat.
just the physical list of which mods they used, and Blubos was in there. So a lot of this stuff I have completely scalped from the Novus list, and
Did
let
you
me
know
give
there's some
them
fruits
credit
that
for
actually
that.
grow better in the cold
Hello, chat.
But that is a beautiful spot in the world, and I am grateful for everyone's contributions. I think Novus is really the only list that I picked apart. It is beautiful. But it does focus a lot on combat animation changes, and it did use Nemesis, I believe. But it's also a hybrid of different versions. So the Novus mod creator has some extraordinary mods. So they've got one for grass that is like a mash. I think it's just called the Novus mashup. walk always in the light or we will drag you to it. Words from the Vigilant. But yeah, they're extraordinary. They took several different grass types. It was amazing. And made a coherent list from it. And again, my issue was that when you get something like that, so these are Joftin's notes, when you get something like that that is so specific, you can't touch it. And I like touching things. An ancient battle site was discovered near Thorin's lair. On the ground, an assortment of weapons and armor of the Daedra known as Golden Saints and Dark Seducers lay strewn about. It is from this site that we took up their arms and joined together as bandit companions under their names. Since then, as the only blacksmith, I have taken it upon myself to study these otherworldly artifacts. And now, at last, my efforts to reproduce the exquisite craftsmanship of the great Daedra has finally borne fruit. My mind is not what it once was. If my memory fails me, at least these notes can help the others keep the craft alive. One would be foolish to forge weapons from gold, as it's far too soft, and yet the golden blades of the saints are nimble and harder than steel. How could this be? The trick appears to be threefold. First, the structure of the piece must be reinforced with refined moonstone. Second, the gold must be hammered into place while the gold is heated just below its melting point. Third, the introduction of the heart of the Daedra to the forge while heating the piece so it can be hammered into shape completely transforms the attributes of the metal, giving it its uncanny hardness. The process for forging the dark armor of the Seducers is similar, but requires more finesse, as you must balance shaping the unyielding ebony with malleable quicksilver. The heat applied must be very precise, or the shape and integrity of the equipment will be ruined. As before, introduce the Daedra cart to the forge as you heat the material. So Saints and Seducers in vanilla is actually a really good thing to do early if you want access to the armor. And you get, I believe you get like a set of dragon scale along the way. I'm gonna do a little bit of exploring. Oh, that's right. We're running now. We're running and casting. No and buff a little bit. So it's not. You can pick it up at the beginning of the game in Whiterun pretty easily from Risad. We're at Lake Inanolta, I believe. Look at that beautiful water. Beautiful water. And oh, it's a ship. Probably freezing, right? Yeah, I'm freezing. It's a ship. It's a ship with ship stuff. Yeah, I just went in there. Okay. So if you're not into crafting, I kind of like wearing everything that I make. Making everything that I wear. But if you want to get a ready-made set, Saints and Seducers is really a good way to go. It does give you crafting recipes.
You get health and stamina.
But the materials can be hard to find early in the
You
game.
could always use a bit of extra stamina.
Okay. Let's see here. Alright, there's another one over here. Another, shard. Look at the lilies! Alright, I'm almost to 50. So running around and casting stuff goes pretty fast. Oh, Bone Wolf. Hey. Oh, it's at the top. Alright, I gotta go in. Okay, my illusion can now give me... Alright, we have quiet casting. I'm gonna keep going on this until I get to 100. Because of the... Okay, I don't have the key, so I can't get up there. What is this plant? What is this? It looks like a unique plant with unique... it's probably Creation Club if it needs... If it's got a bone wolf, it might be like the... I haven't found the necromancer house. I don't know. I don't know.
That smile.
We'll find it
I
later.
swear I could stand in.
Help Sorin with her project to improve the crossbow. Go talk to Sorin. Enemies are
Pouring
nearby.
rain, seeds, and I feel like the sun
Okay, creepy
is
people
shining
standing in the
on
middle of
me
the road.
all over again.
It happened so fast. 1 minute the dragon was there, the next it was gone. Everything was destroyed.
Did you see where the dragon went?
No, I was too afraid to look. I don't know what we're going to do now. We have nothing left.
Why are people covered in dirt? Here you go.
You're too kind. Thank you. Be careful and stay safe.
Thank you for the gold, traveler.
You're welcome. I'm so used to modded faces, and then I see a vanilla face, and I'm like, ah! What happened to you?
All right, before we go in.
What?
We'll likely be facing Encana when we get in there. You and me,
God.
win or lose, we're doing this together. Whatever it
Oh,
takes.
sweetheart, you're like 100 hours behind, and I appreciate you. I truly do. You're
I
awesome.
wonder what this cryptic prophecy could mean. I've definitely never seen it before.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, Serana, I'm sorry, but if only I could edit your interactions.
Do you have a moment? Gunmar and I have been talking, and, well, we're slightly worried.
You sleep
both
with your
realized
crossbow?
that if Isran's even allowed us in here, he must be really concerned. And if he's that concerned, the situation must be pretty bad. Make sense?
You're worried about what we're up against?
Yes. These vampires are a new threat, and a truly deadly one. Gunmar and I agree that we're going to need Florentius to help. Gunmar and I have a lot of work to do here, so we were hoping that maybe you could track him down.
Who is Florentius?
He's a priest of Archay. Well, he was. It's complicated.
Isn't it always?
He's a little eccentric, but we can trust him, and we could definitely use his skills.
Where can I find him?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know where he is. Haven't seen him in years. I think he had regular contact with the Vigilance, and I know Isran kept track of them. So maybe you could ask Isran if he knows anything? Just keep in mind that he... well, he might not like the idea.
Oh.
I guess we had quite the night. My head still feels dizzy.
This is probably sanguine. You got drunk too?
Yeah, it looks like I did. Now, by the blood of my ancestors, I have no damn clue about how this even happened. At least for me. Daughters of Cold Harbor just don't get drunk by mortal means. Though, my memory is still hazy. But, hear me out. So, you were with this Sam person, right? You started drinking with him, and then he also asked me if I wanted to drink. When I started drinking, it tasted kind of weird. I don't know what it was, but that Sam might have used some Daedric alchemy.
Yeah, you think?
Then I vaguely remember running around, shouting, "Goats? A wedding?" I can only remember fragments.
I like the quest though.
Oh no. I do also remember fondling the Debella statues here. Oh no. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Okay, honey. Aw, now I feel bad that I'm not bringing her along, but I'm not bringing her along. Oh.
Hope you're getting along with Isran. He takes some getting used to.
Oh, okay, so... Can you teach me how to make a crossbow?
A basic one? Of course. That is, assuming you know anything about steelsmithing. It's pretty simple. Talk to Gunmar if you need materials.
Why wouldn't Isran like me talking about Florentius?
The two of them just never got along. That's why Isran didn't have you go looking for him when he sent you after us.
Okay.
Farewell.
Keep sending me back to Sorin. Help Sorin with her project to improve the crossbow. I'm supposed to speak to Isran. I don't... Oh, bolstering the ranks. Okay. I get it. Disable this one. Oh my god. Okay. Is he upstairs?
Wow. Just sensing your magica reserves. You truly are incredible.
Thank you. I'm sorry that when you travel with us, you light people on fire. I don't know where I'm going. Ah! I don't know how to stare. No, I don't want to go to Dayspring Canyon. Oh. I'm going to Dayspring Canyon. I'm leaving Dayspring Canyon. We'll go there later. Yeah, the Serrana dialogue overhaul has also had another update. And I keep intending to have her as a follower. I just haven't been doing it.
We don't want to get caught napping like the Vigilance did.
How am I back at Dayspring Canyon? Okay, get away from this side of the castle, folks. You know what? I'm gonna use clairvoyance. Take me to Isran. Hey, Salia. So cute. Alright, this is not good. It is sending me out, and I need to be in. How am I at Dayspring Canyon? How do these things happen? I just want to go upstairs. Okay. Hey, Mogul.
Once again, the Elder Scrolls have proven their value.
Okay. I'm getting closer. It's just a wooden door. It's not Dayspring Canyon.
I knew it would come to this one day. I knew. And no one believed.
I need to find someone named Florentius.
Who said something? Sorin or Gunmar? I thought they'd have learned their lesson by now. I don't trust that man. And I don't want him here.
Saurian thought we'd need his help.
I suppose she's right. I shouldn't let my personal feelings get in the way. Last I heard of him, he was aiding the vigilance of Stendar at Runvald. He may still be there. If he can maintain some appearance of normalcy, I'll allow him to stay.
Appearance of normalcy. Okay.
Stay alert.
Okay, so many of these quests we're not going to be completing. We're just activating new quests, like bolstering the ranks. So that's going to wait. We're just going to clear... Okay, so that's going to have to wait. Artificial consciousness. That's the book Serana gave me. Artificial consciousness. Through soul fragment integration, a leap into sentient automaton evolution by Aryo Avalon. Abstract. Aryo Avalon explores the frontier of artificial consciousness, postulating that soul fragment integration could be the key to unlocking genuine sentience in automatons. By examining Tamriel's technological landscape, this paper underscores the potential revolutionary impact of blending the ethereal with the mechanical in automaton engineering. Figure 1. Image concept of the basic rudimentary soul gem receptacle. Many researchers and scholars are aware of the rudimentary technology and ability to make such receptacles. However, it does not suit the purposes we need for soul fragment integration. Historically, the aspiration to imbue automatons with consciousness has captivated thinkers. This work theorizes that genuine consciousness in automatons might be achieved through the incorporation of a soul fragment serving as the essential bridge between the ephemeral realm of souls and the tangible realm of mechanics. Aware of this rudimentary technology and ability to make okay, this is messed up a bit, but I'll continue. Image concept of a dwarven automaton being imbued with said fragment. Note, it is desired for the design of said automaton to be more akin to mortals, which is impossible with current technology. So it might be this page. I'm going to check the next one. Now it's just kind of messed up. Soul fragment integration and sentience. While the Dwemer's soul gem power automatons provide a rudimentary template, true consciousness demands a more intimate bond, integrating the soul fragment directly into an automaton's essence. This concept, intertwining mortal experience with mechanistic experience, lays the foundation for a genuinely sentient, self-aware entity. Concept of an ideal soul gem receptacle. Technological advances and implications. Despite the technological constraints of the Fourth Era, year 192, there's hope on the horizon. The pace of technological evolution promises a future where the fusion of soul gem receptacles becomes feasible. Achieving this would redefine automaton engineering, giving rise to beings with the capacity for introspection, growth, and emotional depth. Soul gem receptacle design variant B. Conclusion. The fusion of soul fragments into automatons isn't merely an academic endeavor. It promises a paradigm shift in artificial consciousness. While current Tamriel technology presents challenges, the potential ramifications of such innovation are immense. As we deepen our grasp of soul mechanics and eagerly anticipate technological strides, we stand on the precipice of an era where the boundaries between the living and the constructed become indistinguishably blurred. Note: all theories, findings, and assertions in this research paper are the sole intellectual property of Aryo Avalon, devoid of collaborations or affiliations with other entities. Okay. I've read the book.
Be on your guard at all times. Avoid sleep if you can.
That's why you're so tense, man. Sleep is important for brain development and memory formation. Sleep. Sleep, folks. It's important. Okay. Oh my god, I have forgotten how to do everything. Okay, so Saurian might send me in several different directions. Right now, I don't see that I'm getting... Okay, I did this. Okay. Bring the ancient Falmer tome. So yeah, part of the issue of me wanting to be a vampire is that Serana's too nice. She's way too nice. And it doesn't make much sense to be just a good vampire. What's the point of being a vampire if you're gonna, like, bring alms to the poor and not just eat them? Like, why are you doing this? So I can't really get a role play thing going with Serana because she's... Oh, I'm just eating. Silly. Because she's a mess. Like, the character doesn't make any sense. Why are you locked away? Why are you so helpless? Why are you so overpowered? This overpowered daughter of Cold Harbor. Okay, it's not giving me a marker form.
May I help you, Archmage?
Hey, Alma, looking good. I heard this is where I might find some books about the Snow Elven Exodus.
I don't know who told you that. What we do have are plenty of books. Take a look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. I might have it stored away. This better be good.
Okay.
All right, then.
Bring the ancient fallen return to Earth. I wonder if I stored it. We'll have to get back to that. We're in the second word of the Soul Terror Shout. Where? That might be in, here, there's no... There's no location for Zalembic.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of the ocean breeze
Hey,
on your
baby.
face, and the scent of the salty sea air.
Why is my unicorn here? That's wild. Can I ride my unicorn around? I mean, why not? Oh, look how majestic we are, sweetheart. Look at how beautiful we are. Look at my cape in the snow. Oh, we're awesome. Look at us being awesome. Okay. I love you. Alright. What is this now? Examine memorial. Erected 4E201 in memory of Archmage Salvus Earl. Oh, that's kind of cool.
The early
And
bird
is
gets
this
the
for...
worm.
No. Erected 4E201 in memory of Master Wizard Mirabelle Irvine.
Worm.
Oh,
Dragon.
yeah.
Worm.
Okay, that's awesome. Alright. These quests don't appear to be clearing. I never even got the Thieves Guild armor from Timilia. Wow. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be doing some so I believe the best way to do quests is do a section, finish the miscellaneous. This the completionist thing is cool, but it doesn't make any sense to leave all of this stuff lying around. So I believe in the future I'll be doing a section and then filling in the miscellaneous. Oh, I should have gone to the Thieves Guild. Oh, I love that cape so much. Now I need just outfits with capes. It's the opposite of the Incredibles. No capes. In this case. More capes.
So you're the new recruit, huh?
I'm the guildmaster
Well,
now.
looks like you and I are gonna have to get very well acquainted.
Sorry, Tanelia. Why is that?
I'm the fence down here. You come by anything you don't exactly own, and I'll pay you some coin for it. Minus a little slice for the guild, of course.
Of course.
I can also provide a few supplies useful to our trade now and again, for a small fee.
Is there anything you don't charge for?
Sure. How about I get Dirge to knock you over your head and dump you into the cistern?
Sure.
Look, I've been in this business a long time, and I've seen all types. You can play it tough, or you can play it smart.
Yeah, see, it's
Whatever.
assuming that I'm
At the
a
end
guy,
of the day,
or
you'll
you know,
find that all we care about down here is how much gold you can make us.
To not be able to be a character who doesn't make just crude sexual references is forced on you.
Good. Then there isn't much more to say. Here's your armor. Just make sure you put it to good use. Well, looks like you're fitting in well down here.
I'm your guild master.
I'm supposed to allow you to trade in one of your pieces of guild armor. So what will it be?
Anything different about it?
Of course. Otherwise it wouldn't be much of a reward, now would it? Your new piece will enhance your skill beyond that of the original. Trust me.
Trade in my armor.
Are you sure? Once I exchange it for you, I'm not taking it back. Unless you want to sell it at a discount, of course.
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so those quests did actually clear. I'm gonna have to go. Let's go back to Breeze Home and drop off Kaidan. Because I'm going to need to head to Solstheim to do another round of Kolbjorn. And some miscellaneous stuff over there. And I think I'm going to add the Jorvasker map marker. Hey, honey. I should probably look up the thieves' marks and see what they mean so I can read them, because my house is marked with one. Hello, Miko. Hi, honey. Hi, Ironclaw. I love you. Oh, can you pack up the campsite?
Sure thing.
Oops. Oops. Sorry, sweetheart. Okay, are we done now?
Can I get you anything, love?
Wait here.
I'll be here.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Wishing you found family, creative hobbies, a hot bath after a long day, and food you love as much as Saleya loves apple pies.